Hello everyone, welcome to Codex Academy. In previous session we have discussed about the motion block. Now we are going to discuss about the look blocks. How the look blocks give the valuable effect of our animation, games and stories. So here we are. Look blocks. As the word say look, it means this block helps in Scratch to change the look of your sprite and it also change the visual effect of your stage. So this look block help to change the appearance and the visual state of your sprite and the stage, which makes your animation more attractive and more creative. There are multiple command blocks we use in the look blocks. Like first you will see the first block is say hello for 2 seconds. It means it used to create a speech bubble where you can write any text and it will set the time for 2 seconds. You can increase the time as per your demand. It will look like this. Say hello for 2 seconds. You can write anything instead of hello as well and you can change that value of time. Now the next one, if you want to write something for the long period of time, there is no any restriction regarding time. So you can use this say block where it's mentioned say hello. Instead of hello, you can write anything for that and you can use such kind of block in your story and animations. Now the next one is think block. Here, whenever you want to show your character, your sprite is thinking, so on that you can use such block and it you can write anything like in the think in the story, in your imagination you want to create some thinking effect. So you can use this think block. Here this block is mentioned for the time foundation, like here you want to show the thinking effect for 2 seconds or more, you can use it. But here this think block, any thought bubble you can create which is not restricted with the time. So this is all about the how you can write the dialogue. You want to say something, you want to show your sprite is thinking, so you can use such blocks. Now the next one. Here you can see there are multiple look blocks we have and which show very interesting effect in our animation. Like you can see this mention is switch costume. Switch costume means when you want to change the look of your sprite. In Scratch there are multiple sprite are available and which have many costume which have their different visual effects, their different position has changed and also their color get changed. You can switch your costume as per your demand of your animation with the help of this block. Now the next one is next costume. In your sprite you have multiple costume and as per your animation demand you want to change the costume of your sprite, so you can use this costume block. Now the next one is to switch backdrop. Same like you want to change the costume of your sprite, you also can change the backdrop, means background. Multiple background you can select for your animation and you can switch it according to your demand. And the same as next costume, there is one more block that is called next backdrop. Here you can arrange your backdrops in a sequence manner as per your animation demands and you can click on next, accordingly it will get change your backdrop to the next one. Now you can also change the size of your sprite, change size by 10, or you can change this number value. It's not stick by 10, it's up to your demand and up to your requirement of your animations and stories. You can change the value of size and according to that you can change the size of your sprite. Here you can set the size of your sprite. By default show 100%, which is the exact size figure you will see in the sprite area, and you can decrease the size of your sprite and you also can increase the size of your sprite as per your demand with the help of this block. Now we'll move to the next one. Here these blocks helps to change the color effect. Here in some animations you will see your sprite change color simultaneously, different color is showing. This block is really create a very beautiful animation while you want to choose a different color of your sprite, so you can use it. There are effect by 25 means that 25 different color you can see the effect of that and you can change this value and you also can set the color on the basis of that. Here you also set the color, also the fish eyes, body structure, pixels, different kind of visual effects you can fix in that and you also set the value of that. If increase this value, automatically you will see the value of effect is get increased. You will see the more visual effect as the effect value get changed. Now the next one is clear graphic effect. Suppose you have changed your sprite by the color, you showing multiple visual effect, and at end of the game you want to clear all the graphic effects of your sprite. You can use this block which is called clear graphic effect. Immediately your all graphic effect it's removed. Next one, show and hide. It means in between the game you want to show your next sprite or you want to hide your sprite, so you can use these blocks which helps to show and hide your sprite. Now the next one, these are the last blocks which belongs to the look category. Here first it shows the go to front layer, front and back layer also. We can use this drop down to make it front or back layer. Whenever you want to move your sprite front and behind of all other, you can use this block. Or also you want to move forward and backward by the certain number of layers present. You can create number of layers on the screen. Per your demand of your animation, you can make your sprite move forward, move backward with the help of these blocks. And these three, when you want to see the costume number of your sprite, which backdrop is visible in the current state on your screen, and what is the actual size of your sprite. Once you can click on this square, automatically it will appear on the screen and you can see which costume is visible right now, what is the current background it's showing, and what is the size of your sprite. Now all these blocks will see on the scratch how they are working actually. So here we are. When we want to see how the look blocks show the effect on sprite, just you need to choose the look blocks palette. All the look command blocks are visible over here. Now one by one we'll see how these look blocks work. First I need to choose the event one and I'll take the flag block over here. And now next I'll move to the look one. First I will choose the say hello for 2 seconds. And I just drag and drop over here and I just click on the flag. You will see. After 2 seconds, this hello is disappear. Now again I want to click on that. You can see it's appear, and after 2 seconds it disappear. You can change the value of second and you can also change the dialogue over here. Now next one, it shows say hello. This will not disappear. Once you click the flag, you will see for the long time it will be visible. You can see until I'm not going to hide this one, and if I'll not restrict it with the time, it will not disappear by itself. Next one, it's think. You can see once I click on the flag, you will see the effect. It's showing the thought bubble, means your sprite is thinking now. It will disappear in 2 seconds. You can increase the value of the second also. Like I mentioned, it's 6 seconds, so it will be showing for 6 seconds. Now another one, we can use the thing block, same like the say block, and it will not disappear as per the time demands. Until I will not remove this block, it will show like that. Now the next one is switch costume to. Here costume, how you will find out how many costume your sprite has. You just click on this costume and you will see over here this sprite has 2 costumes, means 2 type of different position. One you can see this one and another one see this one. So there are 2 costume 1 and costume 2. You are able to switch these 2 in the coding. So you can see here's mentioned costume 2. Once I click on the flag, it's already the costume 2. Now I want to make it costume 1. So I just click on the costume 1 and now you will see the effect. This is the costume 1. Now if you want to go to the next costume, so you can just select this next costume block, put it here, and you can see the effect. Automatically which one is the next costume, it will show over here. Now we'll see the next block. It is change size by 10. Once I just click on the flag, you will see the effect, how the size of your sprite is changed. It increased by 10 by every click. You can also change the value. Suppose I will make it -20. So you will see the value how it is get reduced. You can increase the size of your sprite. You can decrease the size of your sprite with the help of this block. Now, if you want to set the size of your sprite, this is by default 100%. You can reduce it or you can increase it. Now I can make it 300%. So you can see the effect. It shows too big. Now if you want to make it 50, and you will see the effect. It is 50 now. I'll make it 100 right now. So it will again become to their original size. Now the next one is to change the color effect. Here is mentioned 25, means there are 25 different color tones it will show. And you can see once I'll click how the sprite color has been changed one by one. Different color shades of your sprites you can see over here. It shows the very beautiful graphical effects on your animation. Now you can change the value of color, and also there are pixelate value, mosaic, brightness, ghost, different of graphic effect you can show over here. Like in the pixelate, if you'll see, it show the pixel value like you can see in the Minecraft. On the basis of the value can be changed. Now the next one, where you can set the effect value, how much effect you want to set in the particular value. Suppose here I'll just make it the color change, so it's show, you can see the color value has been changed. Now again pixelate I will choose and I will make it the 0 effect, so automatically you can see it's come to their original shape. So this is the original sprite has been visible right now. Now if you want to create some pixel effect as per your demands, so I'll make it as 30. So you will see the effect on your sprite. See. So this is also create a beautiful graphic effect. Especially these kind of effects are used in games. Now the next one, it's called clear graphic effect. Whenever like end of the game you want to clear all graphic effect from your sprite, so you can choose this block and just you click on the flag, you can see your sprite come into the original shape, original position, all graphic effect will be disappear. Now the next one is show and hide. Suppose your sprite you mention as hide over here and you want to show, so you just click on the flag and you can see your sprite is here. Now you want to hide your sprite, so here you can use this hide block. Just click on the flag and you can see your sprite is hide now. Again you want to show, you just click over there, you can see your sprite is here. Now the next one is shows. Go to front layer and the back layer. It shows, suppose you have choose a different type of sprite, so here you just choose on that and you can make it back, so it come back to the other sprite. And also whenever you want to choose to make it front, so it will automatically come in front of the other sprite. Now if you want to choose the forward and backward of the layer, here you can select the number of layers. Suppose you're going to choose multiple number of sprite and here you are making a layer of different sprite over there, so you can set the number value of your layer and you can move your sprite forward and backward. Like suppose this sprite is forward right now, so you want to make it backward, so just you can choose the backward and just click the flag and you will see the effect, it moved backward side. Now again if you want to choose forward, so you can see it come forward. So you can set the layer value in that, otherwise the both blocks work in the same manner. The next one, it shows costume number, backdrop number and size. Here you just need to click on this square and you can see these block on your screen. You can see here there is mentioned sprite 1 costume number 1, means your sprite 1, this cat has costume number 1 right now. Now the backdrop number, it's 2. There are 2 backdrop. One is this grass one and another one is the white background. Wants to see the background effect, so you can choose the backdrop over here. Like here you can switch the backdrop. It's mentioned blue sky, which we have already chosen. Now if you want to switch to make it the plain one, backdrop one, you just choose the backdrop 1 and you can see the effect. It shows white background over here, and you can see the value of this backdrop number is also changed. And you want to switch the backdrop also, same as a costume, you just move the next backdrop and you can just click on that. Automatically it is your next backdrop is there, because here we have choose only 2 backdrops. So automatically once you click the flag continuously, one by one both backdrop will appear. You can see over here. This is all about the looks blocks, which is very beautifully create the graphical effect and the visual effects on your sprite and make a creative and interactive animation, games and stories. So this is all about the look block. Now in next session we are going to discuss about the next block palette. Be with us. Thank you. Enjoy the learning.